Hi, everybody. I'd like to talk to you today about how to cite sources, and we're going to focus in particular on the works cited page. So, first of all, what does it mean to cite and why do we do it? To cite just means to give credit to your sources. Your essays are going to involve some of your own ideas, but some information you're going to get from somewhere else. Whenever you get information from somewhere else, you've got to give credit to that. So you're essentially doing two things with the citation. Well, three things we'll say. First of all, you're letting the reader know that that information came from somewhere else. Somebody else produced that for you. Second of all, you're enabling your reader to go and find that information. Whenever I'm reading your essays, I should be able to look at your essay, and in any paragraph where you're using a source, I should be able to go and I should be able to find that source myself. And in essence, what you're doing is you're avoiding plagiarism. That's the other thing. And plagiarism means a failure to give credit for someone else's work. It's presenting somebody else's ideas as if they're your own. And it's a major no-no. Plagiarism, usually you're going to fail the paper depending on how egregious it is. In some cases, students have gotten kicked out of the college for it. So this is a really important lesson you'll be able to follow here. So what do you need to cite? You need to cite a lot of stuff, okay? Basically anything that didn't come from you, you need to cite. Direct quotations, of course, we know that. Indirect quotations, partial quotations, all of those. But even if you're not using quote marks, if you're summarizing, you're giving specific facts or examples or stories, those kinds of things all need to be cited. Whenever you use the word research shows or research proves, you better give me a citation for that. A lot of times people say research shows when they say, they think they heard it somewhere at some point, and that's not a sufficient strength. If you're going to say research proves, then you got to give me that citation for where it proves it. Whatever you didn't know before you started doing research for the essay, that should be cited. Information that's not common knowledge pretty much should be cited. So a lot of stuff needs to be cited. So let's talk about how to do it. Part of the problem with citations is that there are different styles. That's one reason it gets a little complicated. MLA, which is what we're going to be using in this course, is commonly used in the humanities courses. APA is used in social sciences. I use this in my English 1D to give people information on different styles. Chicago style, that's the kind with footnotes. That's commonly used in history courses, some other kinds of courses. It depends on what your teacher's going to require. Different courses are going to require different styles, so you have to learn the different styles. In this class, we're going to learn MLA. Once you learn one, it's really easy to transfer it to learn how to do others. Another part of the complication of citations is that there are really two parts to the citation. There's a citation that goes in the body of the essay. This is called an in-text citation. So you're writing a paragraph, you use a source, you put a citation right there. That guides your reader to the works cited page, not age, page, without interrupting the flow of the essay. So in other words, it takes you to this works cited page. The works cited page comes at the end of the essay. It's a separate piece of paper at the end of the essay, and it guides your reader to find that source in the real world. So if you think about it this way, the in-text citation guides you to the works cited page. The works cited page takes you out to the world where your reader can go find that information. This is what a works cited page is going to look like. Now, I recommend when you're gathering sources and preparing it, create a citation and then add that on and create a works cited page. I suggest you create the works cited page first before you do your in-text citations, and that's why we're covering it here. You'll notice a couple things about this. So first of all, notice you've got Freeman 8 here. Normally with MLA style, Up at the top right, you should have a running header, which is running all of your, which would say your last name and the page number. You'll also notice in the middle it says works cited. It's not in bold, underlined, italics, or quotes, just stated, but it's centered. It's centered there. Now these others look centered, but they're not really centered. This is called a hanging indentation. I'll show you how to do a hanging indentation at the end of this lesson. But with a hanging indentation, the first line is flush to the left, and then all the others lines are indented or half an inch. You'll notice another thing is the author's name goes first every time, last name first, last name, comma, first name, until we get to here. Notice this is just quotes. This is the title of the article. If you do not have an author, then you cite the title. You're also going to go alphabetical order. So notice B, C, D, and even the title of the article goes alphabetical order, just like that. Don't count the word the. If you have a the in your title, that doesn't count. It's not under T, it's under, if you say the development, you'd be under D. All right, so you got hanging indentation. I'll show you some of the details about this in just a minute here. So page numbers at the top, title, double space. The whole thing is double spaced, used alphabetical order and hanging indentation, which I'll show you about later. All right, so what kind of information do you include in these things? So it gets a little complicated. So you've got a lot of different options out there because you have a lot of different types of material. You've got books, you've got videos, you've got articles from the internet, a ton of stuff. So how do you know what the rules are? First of all, I'm going to give you kind of a basic set of guidelines you can use, and then I'm going to show you where you can find anything that doesn't fit this. I think you're going to be using, in this essay, you're going to be using mostly articles that you're going to find on the internet. So I'm going to assume that is your standard. We're going to go with that. And then if you've got differences, you can look them up. I'll show you where to find that information. So first thing, what information do you include? First of all, always put the author first. Author, last name, comma, first name. Then put the title of the article in quote marks. Notice the period. You're going to have a period after the author. You're going to have a period after the title, but before that quote mark there. The name of the website in italics. Then a comma, then the publication date, comma, then the URL. That's your web address. And then a period, and the date accessed. So here's an example. Calarco, comma, Jessica McCrory. There's the last name, first name, middle name. Period. Why rich kids are so good at the marshmallow test, period. And then you got your quote marks. The Atlantic, that's the name of the publication. It's the name of the website too. It's the website is also a magazine. And then notice how we do the date. And then you've got your URL and then a period and then access 28 March 2020, okay? This one has no author, so we just start with the title, Stanford Marshmallow Experiment. Then Wikipedia, that's the name of the website. Then you've got your date, your URL, and your access. Okay, so that's your basic information. It gets a little complicated in a lot of different things, and I'll show you how you can find some of this information. A couple important points. Pay attention to the details. This is where an eye to detail really helps, and follow the patterns that you're given. Watch out for where the periods go, commas, quotes, italics. Capital letters is another thing to watch out for. You capitalize all the first, last, and major words of the title. Don't capitalize the, and, or prepositions. Prepositions are words like to, for, on. These are the little words. Don't capitalize those. Now, there are a lot of variations, so I want to show you some things that will assist you to do this. So some of the different variations you're going to see are, you may have one author, you may have two authors, you may have 5 authors. What do you do if you've got an author of one and then another, same author with a different article title. What do you do for books? What do you do for online books? What do you do for videos? What do you do for movies and TV shows? It's a million possibilities. And there's no point memorizing this. The important thing is to know where to find the information. So I like to go to this site called Owl Purdue. And then I'm going to do MLA, Owl Purdue MLA, right there. And this is an MLA style guide. This Owl Purdue is a really good website for all kinds of subjects, grammar, punctuation, and MLA citations. So some things you can look at the left-hand side. This gives you kind of an overview of the different things. And I think your works cited page, these are your different places you can go. So you got your basic format, books, periodicals. Periodicals are journal articles, kind of like magazines, but for scientific experts. Electronic sources, that's where we're going to be using a lot of your stuff. And then other common sources. Other common sources might be podcasts, or videos, things like that. All right, so this is a really helpful website. And well, let's just go to other common sources here. You can click on this, and this shows you for an interview, personal interviews, different published interviews, online published interviews, speeches, lectures, oral presentations, all kinds of different patterns, all right? So you got a lot of different ways to do this. Another thing you can do, by the way, is you can use a citation generator. I have to tell you, sometimes these work well, sometimes they don't. So I'm showing you how to do it the old-fashioned way, which is to do it following these instructions. A lot of my students use these. It's hit and miss, so be careful with that. Make sure if you put the information in wrong, if you enter the wrong, if you don't know where the author is or who the author is in the article and can't find the author, the citation generator is not going to help you. If you can't find what the name of the website is versus the title of the article, if you can't distinguish those, citation generator is not going to help you on those. So that's one thing. Let me show you another thing that will help you on this, the hanging indentation. So hanging indentation. First of all, I'll show you in Microsoft Word. So here's some different things typed up. Okay, so first of all, with Microsoft Word, I'll highlight everything that I have here. Works cited, that looks terrible. Let's put that correctly, there we go. All right, so I'm highlighting all my sources, and you'll notice I got the top triangle, I got the bottom triangle, and I got that little square there. So I am going to click on the top triangle, and you'll notice when I did this, left indent, okay, that's for my, oops, that's the whole thing here. I don't want to do that, there we go. Drag that to 1/2 inch, and voila, I've got hanging indentation, right? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sources. The whole idea is this will be alphabetical, and your reader can very quickly and easily skim through that to find the source. If you're using Google Docs, it'll look a little different. So let's go to Google Docs. This is also a Google Docs here. Same thing with Google Docs. I'll go like that. I'll go to Format. I'll go to Align and Indent. And then Indentation Options, Special Indentation, Hanging. And it's 1/2 inch, it's preset for 1/2 inch, which is perfect. And then voila, I've got my hanging indentation. All right. So I hope that helps you. In the next lesson, you're going to learn how to do the in-text citations. And if you do, you get the 1-2 punch, you get both of those done correctly, your citation's going to be right. All right. I look forward to helping you out here, and good luck to you on these.